Welcome to the Quantum Healing Oracle. This is a channel where I utilize my reflections through tarot and astrology to bring forward clarity and guidance and help you align with your true soul self. My name's Pan. Today we're going to do a quantum pathways reading. We're going to take a look at the strongest potentials that are available in the quantum field and help you move forward and create more joy and alignment with yourself. So if you're new here, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, there's some links in the description box. And if you would like to connect with me for a personal reading, you'll find my contact info there too. As always, please only take what resonates. These are my interpretation of the energies. Nothing's ever set in stone. There's always multiple paths available to you at all times. So ultimately, it's up to you to choose the path that works best for you. Just to take a look at the overall energy, we have great power, hexagram 34. Power. Oh boy, there's right off the bat. There's power available, and yes. Okay. Wow. This is pretty explosive. And I'm kind of connecting it to, we're feeling that there's this strong energy shift in the collective right now and in the planet. Through the astrology reflection, we can, see that Neptune just entered Aries in tropical astrology, and we can also look at how all the inner planets just went through the conjunction with Pluto. And Pluto is about bringing more of yourself to bear, and more of yourself is power. Like that's kind of what you are. You're a cosmic being that's all-knowing and all-powerful and able to wield its influence and creative ability in all dimensions, all time and space. And then we kind of shrink that down into a little human ego, little package size and play and limitation for as long as we're exploring what that is like and what that's about. And then there's always comes a time, because the greater portion of your being has limited itself, it is inevitable that it will release those limitations and expand back into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of who it is and what that power is. And so this is a strong energy coming out here about understanding the power that's available, the power of who you are, what that means. And, yes is the indicator of how to focus that power. So it's like one is recognizing how powerful you are, feeling the connection to that part of yourself, and then two, grounding it into this reality by focusing and choosing certain things that align with the application of that power. I've always said that true power isn't just about being able to manipulate things in this reality. It's about being in alignment with yourself, where all of a sudden everything just reflects that alignment back to you. So you don't even worry about having to manipulate anything in a particular way, because you're so in alignment with your own energy and with your presence of the moment that all reflections of that energy just come into fruition like as if by magic and pop in around you. And so, yeah, this energy here, I'll read the words on the card: strength of character, authority, dignity, influence, self-confidence, leadership, peak condition, and potency. So think about these qualities when it comes to that connection with the truth of who you are and what's available, with that kind of presence and knowing and sense of what's possible. Okay, so let's take a look at the center of the reading here. We have the Three of Cups crossed by the Knight of Pentacles. So what I'm feeling from this center of the reading is that this is a very fluid energy, that this power that's coming in is meant to be shared. It's meant to move through our experience. This isn't something that's just meant to, necessarily stew around in your own consciousness. It's meant to come in and flow through as like a conduit. And specifically in regards to where we feel like we're stepping into the newer version of ourselves, or the healed version of ourselves, or the more aligned expression of who we want to be, who we've always felt that we are. The nature of healing is, in a sense, that same concept of releasing the limitation and the identities that we've been playing that aren't aligned with who we are. So we actually start acting from a place of alignment and feeling, oh, this is my true self. This is who I really am. That's what humans will experience as what we call healing. Is we're no longer limited by our false beliefs and those traumas that were created by believing in those limitations when we were younger. So yeah, again, it's a fluid energy that's about healing. It's about expansion. It's about being your true self and moving forward. And even if there's kind of it not might not necessarily be moving forward in these huge leaps and bounds, although it could. It's just the feeling of moving forward. I've always been a proponent of like recognize that life's kind of about two steps forward, one step back. And if you get overly fixated on that, what that one step back feels like, you're not focusing on the fact that you're actually always moving forward a little bit every time. So if you can build a feedback loop where you're recognizing your progress, you can see how you're moving forward, and you can always reinforce, like, all right, we're moving forward. I feel it. I'm expanding. We can sense that and make that conscious. To me, that reinforces the process and creates that flow of energy. Okay, so here we have in the past, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Prince of Swords. Okay, so what this past energy is all about is basically looking at all the potentials available. This is the nature of the quantum field, is the way our imagination works. We can go into our imagination and we can see all these ideas of what is possible, about what we could do. We can look in the past and see all the possibilities of what we could have done in the past. We can look into the future and see the possibilities of what could happen in the future. We're seeing parallel realities and alternate versions of realities all the time naturally within our imagination. So in this context, this past foundation is about using that imagination in a constructive and creative way to look at all the possible ideas about what it is that you want to bring into this world. What do you feel like your life's work is? What is your purpose? And purpose is kind of a loaded word, because to me, when we understand our only true purpose is to be ourselves as much as possible, but we can choose to do anything with that. It's not like a burdened idea of something we have to achieve or else we failed our purpose. We just learn that by being ourselves, we're fulfilling our purpose, but then we apply that in a specific way through our inspiration, through our creativity, whatever we want to share, and that becomes our work. And so when I call it the great work is bringing the awareness of your higher spiritual consciousness into the human ego and begin to make choices and be of service to others in ways that reflect who you really are. And so that's not any specific work in any specific way, but it is a alignment and a confluence of energy where you feel, this is who I am, I'm bringing this forward in service, and this is the work that I came here to do. So this is, the past is looking at what's possible. What is it that you want to bring into this world? Who are you? What is your purpose? What is your work? And then just getting clear about what you would prefer. Because the whole purpose of having the imagination is to imagine all the possibilities and choose what we would prefer to focus on, and lock into the frequency of that feeling. Because it's not so much about manifesting the exact reality that we can imagine. It's about connecting to the vibration and the frequency of that feeling, of what it feels like to choose what you prefer. Okay, so that's what this past is, finding the frequency of who you prefer to be, what you choose to experience, what's the reality you choose to move into, and then move forward and allow this power, allow this alignment, allow this flow of energy to come in and show you how you're expanding and becoming that more and more and more. We're going to draw a couple clarifying cards here. Seven of Wands and the Four of Cups. Okay, so it feels like in the past there's been, I wouldn't say a hesitancy to move forward, but just kind of like, it kind of feels like sometimes it's so big. It's such an immense thing to take on, this idea of what we feel our purpose is and how we want to move forward in that way, that it almost feels like we're not able to do anything about it. It's like the idea of even considering it can be so overwhelming that it feels that it kind of freezes us up, and then that's where procrastination and stagnation come in, even though it isn't necessarily that there's any like stagnation happening. It's just sometimes having to consider so much about what it is that we really want to do. It takes time. It just takes time, and it takes a certain kind of emotional foundation to be put in place so that we can actually move forward and hold space for this kind of new energy coming in. It's kind of like, if you're going to pour a big glass of water, you need a big, a big glass, a big strong glass, and a big container to hold it. If you want a lot of water, the vessel has to be ready to handle the amount of water coming in. And that's kind of how I see this power. This is a great power and energy of self coming in, but we have to build the right container, and it has to be strong enough and expansive enough to contain the amount of energy that's coming in. And so, here we have this energy and this flow coming in, and it feels a little bit like we're really having to step up our game and kind of and and invoke this presence of what it is that we're capable of doing. There's always this sense of feeling like, I don't know if I'm powerful enough. I don't know if I'm capable enough. This challenge seems too big and too beyond me to even know what to do. But then at a certain point where you gain the confidence and the feeling to say, no, actually, this is what I want to do, and I can do it, there becomes this like application of ability, this application of potential that's like, yes, I feel the potential, I believe in myself, and I know that I can do it. And it kind of takes that energy of applying the confidence and ability to the energy as it moves forward. And that's why we have this yes card, is it does take application. Like, this energy's coming in, this power's coming in, but it does take specific application as to where you want to focus it, who you want to be stepping into that role, even if it's just a little bit at a time and moving very slow. It does take that confidence of knowing that you can. Okay, so here we have the future energies. We have the Hierophant, and we have the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles flew out of the deck when I was shuffling it, and it got my attention to begin with, so I'm not surprised that it's turning up right here. Yeah, so I mean, this energy is really about your success lives in your connection, to your spirit, in your connection to your guides, in your connection to your wisdom, whatever it is that you do to connect to your inner world, and those guides that guide you, and angels that support you. And all religions and spiritual practices were built on the idea that there's a multidimensional hierarchy of beings and infrastructure that guide us and support us in moving forward. And however you want to do it, meditation, prayer, mantra, all spiritual religious applications are designed to strengthen that connection with the spirit, connection with those guides. And that's what this energy moving forward is kind of like leaning into your connection with these other realms, and the wisdom that comes through them, because the reason why they guide you in your journey is so that you can embody a level of wisdom where then you can guide others in this world. That's kind of the way that it's the pay it forward. Is the spirit guides really give us a hand up, and they're always supporting us and giving us more wisdom and knowledge and information. But then it becomes our job to embody that, live that out, and become the spirit guides and examples for other people on Earth. And I feel like the success that is at hand here moving forward, the energy that leads to this kind of success, and by success I mean full materialization and manifestation of this version of yourself that you want to bring in, and this great work, and whatever it is that you want to do to be of service. It's one thing to just have an idea, say, this is what I prefer, this is what I would love to bring into the world. It's another thing to begin to see the reflection of that happening, and and say, wow, look at this. This is materializing. This is my intention of my creative self, and my idea is beginning to be made real. And that's going to come through this connection with spirit. And clarifying card is the tower. So it does require a shift in belief structure. It does require some changes in the current structure of what you believe is possible, I'm feeling, um, as you move forward. It's almost like the idea of believing in our connection to spirit guides and our angels and all those multidimensional forces that are assisting us in moving forward. It almost seems like it couldn't possibly be real, or people might consider it, but they don't consider the true potential of what that means. Like even a lot of people who are religious and go through religious practices don't really truly believe and have a depth of relating and understanding with those other beings and those other dimensions. And so it feels like what this future energy is suggesting is really examine your beliefs. It's one thing to just say you have spirit guides and angels. It's another thing to feel their presence and commune with that energy and feel lifted up by it and let it support you as you move forward. Recognize, I feel filled with this wisdom and I'm going to move forward and share this wisdom. And any beliefs that would have you like question yourself or believe that this isn't possible, or maybe it's fantasy or too good to be true, those beliefs will come into question, and those are the ones that need to be shifted, because you can't just make something happen because you want it to happen. You have to deeply believe that it's happening. You have to experience it happening through your beliefs, and then it will reflect the reality through your direct earth experience. Okay, so we have inner influences, Princess of Cups, outer influences, Two of Cups. So what's really nice about the influences here is that this is connecting with, again, I was just talking about how the connection with spirit is a thing you can really feel. You can really experience the connection there. In this external situation, this is the same, the feeling of unconditional love. The feeling of being connected to this field of love is available. And knowing that it comes through all your relationships, it comes through all the situations that turn up in your life, all the abundance that flows in, all of this is the interconnectivity of that matrix of unconditional love that is designed to support you and give you everything you need, and you move forward. And your only job is to feel connected to it and know that that's the reality. And so that's kind of how I see this influence energy is, one, it's recognizing the love and the support that's available, and two, then expressing your relationship to it. Meaning, um, like dancing is a good example. If you've ever gone to where you want to express yourself to dance, you can't fully express yourself to dance unless you're in an environment where you really feel supported in dancing. That's why most people don't dance on their own at the grocery store. They dance at dances or concerts with other people dancing, because you create this environment where you feel that support, and then you can allow that kind of intuitive movement to come through. And so that's kind of what I feel like this influence energy is when you feel the support of that unconditional love, you are more free to express how that moves through you individually. Okay. And yeah, and this is coming in with passion. This is an active force. This is coming with inspiration. This is coming with the inspiration to express yourself, the inspiration to share, the inspiration to embody what it is you're feeling and let other people know. Yeah, there's strong active element. I like there's a fire and water balance to this influence energy right here. Okay, so the gateway is the archetype that's wanting to be embodied that will lead to the outcome, and we have the fool. So the fool, is setting off into the unknown. It's the initiation. It doesn't know where it's going, but it trusts the path. Okay, and because anytime the fool comes up in the gateway position, this is a call to trust your path, trust your life, trust your journey, trust this power, trust this energy that's coming through. Even though your responsibility is to have an idea as to what you're working on, and let that energy flow through your life so you can expand and become a little bit more yourself, and let that connection and wisdom of your spirit guide you forward. Once that is all moving in your system, it doesn't matter where you go. You can set foot into the unknown in any direction, and you'll be fully equipped, because that power of who you are, that creative potential, goes with you. Okay? So this is where there's no attaching to any specific outcomes needed. When the power is running online, you just take your step out the door, and whatever happens, you're equipped to move with it and move through it. Okay, so here we have the outcome is the Three of Wands. And Three of Wands in the Thoth Tarot, the word on the card is integrity. And when I worked with this card, what it's taught me is that there's an old Indian interpretation of the word integrity that's a little different than the way that we use it in the West, which is that it's almost like a magical virtue to be connected with the power of nature. So the way I think of it sometimes is, if you're swimming in a river and you go to make some swim strokes upstream or to side, you're not actually going to get very far. But if you take a couple of strokes and you go downstream, you're going to go much further, because the whole river is moving that direction. So their definition of virtue and integrity was being in alignment with nature, so that the energy that you put into your movement moves you much more powerfully with the current. And so that's kind of how I'm reading the energy of this as it is working out. Is it's really allowing this power into your system, and especially, like I said, it feels like a flow. There's a flow directing you. Like, trust that you're sensing the river. That river is being guided and shown to you through your guidance, through your spirit guides. And it's just kind of letting go of the oars in that way, and just letting the energy move forward, and know that any action that you're taking that's in alignment with that flow is going to just move you powerfully in the direction that the flow is going anyway. Okay, so we've got a couple more cards here just to see if there's any last guidance that wants to come out. We have the Eight of Earth Guardians Cave, and we have the Radiant Feminine. Okay, so kind of what I'm feeling about this is it's saying there's still work that's being done, and it's okay if it's internal. It's like I said, it's having this idea of purpose and work in the world can be so loaded, because it creates this pressure of something that feels like it needs to be externalized, and eventually it will, and it always does. But sometimes the process that is happening is so internal that is the foundation that is being built, that when it finally does go to move and become external, it has that strong foundation to support it. So I'm feeling like there's still work that's being done. There's still whatever's happening in the inner journey, in the inner world. The feminine energy is really about receiving, receptivity, magnetism, abundance, allowing everything to come to you. So, yeah, there definitely feels like work with that energy, let it move through your system, let it burn through any of the outdated beliefs that no longer serve you. And when it's ready to move forward, it will. It's inevitable. It's nothing you can actually hold back. It's just an expression. It's the expression of the river. It's the expression of the flow of power itself to move from the inside out. Okay, and we have one last card. This is from the Dreamsgate Oracle, and it's Doors of Perception: Choices, Opportunities, Independence, and Illusions. I'm going to read from the book on this one. I am ready to make my own decision. I make soul choices out of fulfillment. A series of enchanted doorways found in the face of an ancient mountain reveal a brilliant inner light. Here the seeker steps into a glow of an inviting entrance, following desire through their own earthly instincts. The Doors of Perception is a card that highlights the many choice points we encounter along the paths in life. As we are pushed to stretch and expand our own views, as a key of abundance, it reminds us that while it is important to dream big and imagine our heart's desires, we must also stay grounded, moving toward that which will nourish and sustain us in the long run. As we make pivotal life decisions, this may require us to follow the voice of our higher self and turn away from anything that may harm our spirit. As we steadily grow and learn through our movements each day, we are able to step back and take an objective look at the greater scope of each situation we encounter. Sometimes this also requires that we move outside of external views, perceptions, or desires, even if we appear silly or strange to others. When this card shows up, it may be a sign that you're facing an array of seductive options or offerings, each with its own appeal and potential pitfalls. It may be tempting to dive into one of these dreams and get lost in the magic of it all, but it is important to remain true to the clarity of your best interests. What is currently being shown may not be what it seems, and within these gifts there may be illusory outcomes. Something is missing. What can you sense? Remember that not all options are created equal. Some may be distractions that will pull you away from your highest good. If you're straining under the weight of expectation, focus on the direction that makes you feel the most alive, while remaining rooted in authentic truth. Stay mindful of your intentions and deeper values as you weigh all the variables, and use them to guide your steps as you navigate the choices that lay before you. Trust your heart and follow your intuition. Imagine each scenario. How do these make you feel in mind, body, and spirit? At the same time, be open to any new experiences and opportunities that feel imbued with value and stability. Follow your inner compass. It will guide you true. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like what that is saying is that I'm getting the Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. And really, all responsibility is the ability to respond. And so the ability to respond in the moment is a connection with presence. And when you're grounded in your connection to yourself and you're present, you can make choices and you can respond and act in alignment with your higher self, with your authentic self. And so that's kind of how this power works, is it's coming in and it's more available. If we stay present and we stay true to ourselves, we're going to see there's always choices on either side to be made, and we can become sensitive enough to feel the choices that keep us in alignment with ourselves and that will allow that power and that energy. That's the river, making the choices that move us further down the river with the power of the river. But we'll also feel that there's choices available that pull us aside or try to pull us back on the river, and that's okay too, because just learning to make choices and feel what those choices feel like is how we form this relationship with our presence and our authenticity. And that way we can, to a greater degree, just sense those opportunities that feel like, yes, this is what I want. This is in alignment with me. This is where we're moving. And then, boom, all that energy and all that power moves forward. Again, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to reach out to me, you'll find my contact in the description box. We'll see you next time.